Hey guys, I'm Rain Younger, and this is another episode of Under the Radar, where we talk all things film. And with me tonight, I have a wonderful panel of guest critics. As always, we have Mr. Matt Roran back for more.
Hello again.
And it's been a while, Mr. Mateo Moreno. Welcome back, sir.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Yeah, for sure. This is great. So, guys, we got a big show. Lots to talk about, obviously. Just first, I wanted to just go around. What are we watching this week? If it's not what we're reviewing tonight, what are you watching? Matt, I know you're always up to something on the TV. So what's
Just been watching some random stuff. I've been just finished season 4 of Criminal Minds, and I just started that Netflix limited series Clickbait. It's pretty interesting. But yeah, I guess I've been. It's like kind of like a procedural. That's what I'm kind of feeling right now. Like I'm doing some procedural and some sketch comedy. I just watched four out of the 6 episodes of Maya and Marty, the Maya Rudolph Martin Short sketch variety show that only lasted 6 episodes. And I was actually at a taping of one of them.
cool.
But I just watched those. Yeah.
How's Maya and Marty? How is it?
I love it. It's good. I mean, it's the 2 of them, and then like Keaton Thompson is like pretty much a third host on the show.
Right.
But they don't really like. It's like he's not in the name, but he's like kind of like their sidekick.
Okay.
And all the sketches, they're like Mikey Day was head writer, and this is before he was on SNL. So this is like right before that, but it's like a lot of the same writers as SNL. Like Robert Smigel did some sketches on it, and like John Mulaney was a writer on it.
Cool.
And so on and so forth. And then it's usually like musical guests, and then like usually like a cast from a Broadway-esque show, usually off Broadway performance in there too. So it's an interesting show. Sketches were good too, and it's like most of the guests on the show were like other SNL people. So
yes. I will definitely watch anything Martin Short related.
Yeah,
I love that man. He basically raised me. Helped raise me as a kid, through his movies, his TV work, and he's still crushing it.
Yeah, they do a lot of every episode has a new Jiminy Glick segment. So they brought that back. There's one with Larry David. It's Jiminy Glick, Larry. It's like so great because they're just like fighting. So good.
I think I may have seen that. But yeah, good stuff. Mr. Moreno, what are you watching these days?
Well, I am usually catching up on this series and that series as far as scripted series, and I got kind of caught up, sort of just kind of by temptation to see how bad it is, and it turned out that it's actually very good and addicting. But it's the reality show The Circle, which is on Netflix, and it's a social media experiment kind of show. Yeah. And I watched the first few minutes of it, and I was like, oh, this is lame. Because especially as an actor, you're slowly starting to realize that social media is now a very big part of anything you want to do, whether you like it or not. And I suddenly, by the end of the episode, I was like, I'm sold. I love all of these people, and I am going to binge this season. Yeah. And now I've started season 2, and season 3 starts next week, and it's completely taken over my life. I follow all of them on social media. I'm a complete square now. So that's The Circle has taken
Circle makes
over.
A square.
The Circle has made me a square. Yeah.
I love it. I'm guilty myself, actually. A couple of months back, I was watching Too Hot to Handle on Netflix.
I watched season 1. Season 2, I didn't like. season 2, like I just gave up on halfway
Yeah.
through because I didn't find any of the contestants likable. Season
Yeah.
1 had like likable people, and I follow most of them on social media. But season 2, I was like, these people bore me.
Well, that's funny that you both say that, because I just started watching the first episode of season 2 of The Circle, and one of the people on there is from Too Hot to Handle.
Oh my god, it's so
Are they
funny.
And
allowed to do
immediately they recognize her. Yeah, because I think it's also a Netflix thing. Or
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's, sort of
didn't
like
know-
Road Rules and Real Worlds merging their shows.
The worlds collide. I love it. I love it. That reminds me, back in the day, I used to watch Jersey Shore.
Mm.
That was like a decade ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, these reality shows, good-looking, stupid people hooking up and getting into trouble. You can't go wrong.
That's the thing, though. Like The Circle, they're not stupid. You're stupid by assuming they're stupid. And they're astrophysicists, or they're a model that happens to be smarter than you ever could be on your best day. Like we're the dumb ones of going, oh, this dumb, and it's really clever. It's good. It ain't no what do you call it? It ain't no Kardashian show.
Oh god, no, we're not gonna get into that.
We never should.
Yeah, and so to be honest, I've been pretty busy watching stuff for the show tonight. Just a few minutes ago, before we started recording, I was actually I had started rewatching Cocoon from 1985.
It's a great movie.
For the show tonight? No one told me I had to rewatch Cocoon. I haven't seen that movie in like 20 years.
Yeah, I don't know. I've been seriously listening to a lot of James Horner lately.
Oh yeah.
And his score for Cocoon is so like magical and twinkly.
Oh yeah.
Beautiful. And so far, it's a really fun movie. I forgot how good it was.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it, my God, in 2 decades, but
Yeah.
I loved it.
Yeah, we're a little nostalgic here on the show, but aside from watching things, I just want to mention real quick that I had the great honor and privilege this past weekend of attending New Jersey Horror Con and Film Festival in Atlantic City at the Showboat Hotel. I took my stepbrother along with me. He'd never been to a con before, so I think this was a pretty good experience for him.
Nice.
He had a great time. We met I can't pronounce his name for the life of me. Mateo can probably pronounce it because you've been practicing your Chinese tonight. But,
I have been.
The little boy from the Goonies and Indiana Jones and Temple of Doom.
Short round and Data.
Yeah, Short Round. What's his name?
It's Key something. Forgive me, Key, but yeah, I love your work, and it was great meeting you. It was him. Also met John O'Hurley, who played Mr. Peterman. Jay Peterman. Yeah, Seinfeld, also the host of the Family Feud for a few seasons. Really nice guy as well. And last but not least, met the great Billy Zane, who was also really cool, down to earth, and it was really nice getting autographs from everybody. And guys, if you haven't been to New Jersey Horror Con, they always have great guests.
Yeah,
and it's
I met Billy Zane at Monster Mania.
Okay.
And he what's his face from Karate Kid, Billy Zabka.
Yep.
I was like, look, it was like at night when like the convention was closed, and we had a room in the hotel, and I'm just like, I went from floor to floor just like looking for like see people around, and the door was open. There was a party inside, so I went in, and it was Billy Zabka's room, and it was like Billy Zane and like whatever. Everyone was like hanging out and having a party, and they were all very nice. So I just kind of like partied with them for a little bit, and kind of like went in there.
Bro, you just stayed for a little bit? I would have stayed the whole night.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't want to like, I don't know. I was just like, and I don't drink or anything, so I was kind of like uncomfortable. It was like I said, like hi to people, and then I was like, all right, okay.
This is happening.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, it's totally weird.
Good story. Mateo, do you have any favorite celebrity encounters?
I was doing a show in the Village years ago. I tell this story to my friends a lot because it's just fun. and it was this off-Broadway, really weird musical. But I went in with a friend of mine to a bar, and it was back when I used to wear a fedora, when people used to wear a fedora, and we weren't completely mocked on the
1920s.
streets.
Okay.
1922.
Yeah.
It was. No, this was like the return of the fedora that happened for like 3 months. And I was wearing my fedora, and this girl at the bar next to me says she likes my hat, and so we just started talking, and just because I'm that kind of guy, I will talk to anybody. And she's British, and I give her the hat, and I'm like, oh, it looks great on you. And she started chatting with us, and I introduced her to my friend. She's like, I'm Carrie, and I was like, nice to meet you, Carrie. And we spent the evening there until I realized, right about before she was leaving, that it was Carrie Mulligan.
Oh wow. Wow.
But this was
Wow.
like pre-big Carrie Mulligan.
Right.
She was still dating Shia LaDouche. And right before she left, Shia came in completely drunk off his ass.
Oh,
Really?
wow.
Asked for a cigarette. I know, surprise, surprise. So out of character for him. And he asked me for a cigarette, even though a cigarette was in his mouth, because he forgot it was in his mouth. He was a charmer, but Carrie, it was awesome. And it was one of those things that she just hung out because we didn't fawn over her, because I honestly didn't recognize her right away. And she's super cool, and really liked my hat.
That's awesome.
I love it. Is this before Drive?
This is before Drive. This is before, I guess they met on Wall Street 2.
Okay.
I think so. They might have been doing like pre-production shit or something in the city,
So, like,
or maybe they were just in the city.
So like 2008-ish?
2007, 2008.
Oh, no,
something
wait,
like that.
I'm sorry. I think it came out 2010.
Get it?
So yeah, between that time period. Wow, that's a good one, man. She was so good in Promising Young Woman.
She's great, literally in everything. In fact, one of the writer of Together, Dennis Kelly, he wrote a great play with Carrie Mulligan, a one person play called Girls and Boys. That's one of the best things I've seen on stage in a long time.
Good to know. Yeah. But save that ammunition for.
Sorry, that was a sneak preview. Sneak preview.
Sneak preview to Together. But yeah, it's very busy time. Fall's coming, so it feels like, I don't know, sort of like a return to normal for film in a way. I love this time of the year. You got the award season just pretty much right around the corner, so all the best films between now and Christmas are coming out. Though I'll say Coda is definitely one of my favorite films of the year so far. But
love it.
Yeah, but we're gonna get into that a few episodes from now, later this year, early next.
Well, that's a major spoil. I just spoiled something later in the episode. You're spoiling several episodes away.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I know.
I'm just gonna talk about next year.
But we're gonna save the spoilers for our next film, because this one has a couple. And this is the new MCU film, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. And it follows a Marvel character that I honestly don't know much about, but thanks to this film, I do. Simon Liu plays the title character, Shang-Chi, who is basically forced to confront his past. His father is actually in charge of this shady underground organization called the Ten Rings, and basically the Ten Rings also possess a supernatural power that is pretty devastating. This film, to me, a lot of it does not feel like an MCU film, which was kind of good, kind of refreshing. It felt like a martial arts fantasy film with Marvel references peppered in. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying it didn't feel very Marvel-y to me.
Well, that's the magic of it, man.
True.
That we're finally getting into all the mystical stuff, which is fantastic. It's like, it's introduced in Doctor Strange, but like we're finally like really like breaking down that wall, because there's so much to Marvel that it's like, it's like you have your mutants, you have your magic, it's like, and we're finally tackling the magic.
Yeah.
It's just beautiful.
It is. And also, I just want to mention that this film does for Asian culture that Black Panther did for African culture in its own right. So it's really cool to see an Asian lead character, an Asian superhero. And I believe, most of the cast too is of Asian descent.
I think there's two white guys in it, literally.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's great to see. Like,
Yep.
let's see that minority power.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. I just want to Aquafina. I love her. I've loved her since Crazy Rich Asians. She's very funny. She's talented. Mateo, I know that you were practicing your Chinese earlier. Were there some actors that you were a fan of here?
Yeah. Well, and actually, not to correct you, but it's Simu Liu, not Simon.
Oh,
Simu.
Okay.
And his sister
Forgive
is his sister is Monger Jiang.
Okay.
And it's I believe her first American film. And Tony Chi Wai Yung, who is a legend.
Legend.
And Fala Chen plays his mother, and Michelle Yeoh, who is also a legend.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow. Thank you for that. That was a mouthful. All right. But yeah, it was just a fun film. Sadly though, my only criticism would be the final act being just this like huge chaotic set piece of like a huge creature that they have to defeat. This is a formula that Marvel and other DC as well has done, and it's just having this obnoxious final battle. Like it's very disappointing when they go that route. You don't really see that. You saw it a little bit, but not much in the MCU series on Disney Plus. But other than the final act of this film, I think that all the pieces connected beautifully. The acting was great. I don't think they could have picked a better Shang-Chi. And it was just very, very magical. It was a really good time at the cinema, I must say. Matt, what were your thoughts on the film?
I absolutely loved it. I mean, I saw it twice so far. Probably try to see it a third time, either Prime or IMAX or something.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a character I know the character pretty well. I read a bunch of the comics, and it's nice to also how they handle the bad guy, like Razor Fist is a character from the comics from Shang-Chi. It's one of those legacy characters where it's been a number of different people have been Razor Fist, but I think they handled that well with their one white guy being him. I thought he was great. I just it's one of those things where it didn't just do Shang-Chi justice. It really went above and beyond. And it was just amazing to see that ensemble oh my god, so incredible. I mean, to have those martial arts legends in the film, and it really adds a layer to it that makes it feel more authentic.
Yeah.
And it doesn't feel forced at any point. It just feels like they were making a fun martial arts movie.
Yeah. And I think one of my favorite, if not my favorite thing of the movie, is probably the fight choreography.
Oh, it's beautiful. Yeah.
And they combine different styles too, I believe, of martial arts.
I mean, most of the mothers was it their style is just Tai Chi.
Mm-hmm.
It's their fighting style is just Tai Chi. It's oh, okay.
Yeah. And that style I think was used in a similar fashion in Crouching Tiger.
Yeah.
And then there are scenes where you have more of a Matrix feel, I know Kung Fu, that type. And also, whoa.
I think Keanu Reeves was in the movie. No, it's good.
Yeah, but he just shows up randomly.
Non-spoiler alert, he's not in the movie.
You got Matrix style, you've got Jackie Chan style, and it all just combines.
I love they had that whole side of the building Jackie Chan fight.
Yeah.
it was like I'm like watching it. I'm like, oh man, like they really like hit every like every soft spot. Where you're like, oh, like, that's great. Like,
And
wow.
I think the best scene in the movie, or at least one of them, definitely one of them, is the bus fight.
Oh, that was so
It
much
was
fun.
beautifully done, because they mixed, practical effects, CGI. There was the martial arts choreography, just great stuff. And I want to see more of this character. I want to see more of this world, and I'm excited to see.
And yeah, it's one of those things where it makes me anxious for MCU, like under Feige, to tackle Iron Fist. Like I really want to see like, because there's so many like the immortal weapons and stuff like that, like all the like the legend of Iron Fist and stuff. That's the kind of shit like I could see them getting into with like a sequel to this movie.
Okay.
And like actually like giving us a proper Iron Fist.
Well,
I mean,
You mean one that can act and do martial arts? Or
yes,
okay.
yes.
Well, without giving much away, isn't the upcoming Doctor Strange film going to have elements of Shang-Chi's world? If I'm,
Well, we don't know yet.
we don't
But
know.
I mean, like
I don't know. Did you reveal? Because I actually don't read spoilers, so I haven't heard anything about that.
yeah, I mean,
Okay.
like
It
Okay.
could, and there's also like there's so many spoilers that,
Yeah.
except for the ones that people know pretty concretely about, like say Spider-Man.
Yeah.
There's a lot of bullshit spoilers on the web too.
Okay.
exactly. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, like you never know.
we'll wait and see.
I mean, I'm sure we'll see Shang-Chi sooner than a sequel.
Yes,
Mm.
let's hope so, because
Yeah.
it's a great character. Again, I love it. And did you? Yeah, you guys obviously you saw this on the big screen because it's the only way you could.
Yeah, I saw it in our hood actually. Went to
Oh, nice.
our local theater.
Yes.
I it's definitely one of my favorite films, but I think it's one of the best MCU films. Period.
Definitely.
I honestly think it is spectacular.
Yeah.
And I like respectfully disagree, Randy. I don't think the third act was muddled at all.
Okay.
I don't think it had elements. I think any action movie is going to have the fight of the big bad, everything from a comic book to a novel to like that. And
Yeah.
Marvel has had that problem in the past of doing like the same with DC, of
Yeah.
like doing the giant spectacle. But instead of that, they had this giant creature that is not just a surprise. It's talked about throughout the whole thing. You know what's coming. And it emotionally, without, any spoilers, it emotionally concretes itself into not only the film, but actually of Shang-Chi's himself and his own journey and other characters' journey. I thought it was a beautiful ending. I thought the fight choreography was absolutely stunning. The visual cinematography is breathtaking. Every actor knocks it out of the park.
Yeah.
Simu and Aquafina's relationship is fantastic.
Oh my god, what a team!
Yeah. they're great.
Amazing. I can't wait to see more of them.
Seriously.
Monger Zhang as his sister, I thought she was fantastic as well.
Yeah.
Just seeing Tony Chu
Oh,
do his shit, like he just in the first scene, like before anything, I'm just like, this
Yeah.
could end right now and I would be fully satisfied.
Yeah.
He is just a genius. And the director, Destin Daniel Creighton, I think he's known for a lot of smaller films. Like he did Short Term 12, Just Mercy,
Yep.
did The Glass Castle with Brie Larson.
Yeah.
And he knows how to bring out great performances. Like
Yes.
he's this new layer of directors that Marvel's pulling in that can figure out big fighter elements with other people around them.
That's their beauty is getting these like actually talented young directors, who like and giving them a chance to make grand fucking masterpieces, while
right.
DC just hires old school hacks.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you made a shitty horror movie, make this movie. Like, like.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's
which hopefully, like, because like I mean, they did do Kenneth Branagh for Thor, which I mean I love the first Thor movie. A lot of people shit on it, but Yeah, I like what he did with it. It was weird to see that like humor in Kenneth Branagh's movie, because he put a lot of humor in the first movie, and and hopefully Sam Raimi will this will bring him back to old Sam Raimi.
Oh, I hope so. I really hope so. I don't want to get another Oz the Great and Powerful or whatever that was.
I mean, I do love that movie.
I'll be honest, I didn't see it because it just looked ridiculous.
Oh, I love it.
I don't need another one of those movies. I'm a big Wizard of Oz fan. I definitely don't need another Oz Great and Powerful.
Yeah.
But that's exactly it. Like Destin, he pulls great performances out. He knows where to put the camera, along with his great cinematographer. And I mean, there's a reason why Marvel is bringing these directors in, why the universe of Wakanda is so rich and glorious, why Thor didn't end with Thor 2, where it very well could have, and it breathed new life into this character. Like the people they're bringing in, it's really smart. And Shang-Chi, like not only did it exceed expectations, it broke a Labor Day weekend post-COVID. Like it is doing business like it was every day, and I think it's going to continue. I think repeated views of it's going to be great.
And it's just miracle that they moved up Venom, like thinking that Venom actually has a shot of doing that well.
It's possible. Hey, you never know.
I think it's probably going to do better, but
it's not going to do Shang-Chi numbers. I'll tell you.
It ain't going to do Shang-Chi numbers, but and then non-spoiler, but stick around for there's 2 credit sequences.
Yep.
Post-credit sequences.
There's
one really cool world building, and one that's like a awesome to be continued.
You kind of saw it coming. To be.
You did, and you wanted it, and they gave it to you, and you're like, thank you.
Okay, thank you. I knew this was coming.
Yeah. Well, that's to be expected with any Marvel movie. You've got the mid credits and then the post credits.
Yeah.
And it's always exciting to see what Marvel has up their sleeves.
And it's great because it not only answers some questions, but also gives you more questions.
Yeah.
I love that.
I love it too. So, all right, guys. So I think it's unanimous. We're going to recommend this to our family and friends. See this movie.
I mean, see it right away. See it on the big screen.
See it on the big screen. I saw it twice already. Probably going to see it another time. Yeah. So I definitely highly recommend it. Yeah. Definitely, I would say in my top 5 Marvel movies.
I want to see a Shang-Chi.
Out of 20-something movies.
I want to see a Shang-Chi and Katie Disney Plus series. I think that'd be awesome.
Yeah, well, maybe that's in store for us in the future. Who knows?
Oh, we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, there's so much going on. So
yeah. All right. Well, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings is now out in theaters and will debut on Disney Plus immediately following its 45-day exclusive theatrical release. So check that out in 45 days, or check it out now in your local theater because it is that good. So that's Shang-Chi, guys. All right, guys, we're going to switch gears a little bit with a romantic dramedy set in the age of COVID, actually. And I was very interested to see this one. It stars, it's called Together, and it stars James McAvoy, Sharon Horgan, and they basically play a married couple whose relationship is strained due to the pandemic. The film progresses from the very early days of the pandemic up until I think it's about the span of a year or maybe a couple months, and basically
it's over a year. It's pretty close to now.
Over a year. Okay, and basically it's really just a 2-person show. And they're kind of at each other's throats in some scenes. There's a lot of tension, but there's also a lot of love. There's a lot of heart. It's actually a really good. I'm not married, but it seems like a pretty good representation of what married life looks like. And McAvoy is great. Sharon Horgan, who I don't really know, I think she's better than McAvoy, to be honest.
She's fantastic.
She's great.
I recently binged all of Catastrophe, the show she's on.
All right.
It is one of my favorite shows of all time. I'm so upset like it got canceled because I absolutely adore her. I think she's incredible. She's also in Game Night, which I absolutely love.
That's a fun movie.
She's just so great.
Oh, cool. All right. My only criticism of this underrated film is that James McAvoy's accent. It's very Scottish. It's a
So
strong,
Scottish, I love it.
strong Scottish brogue, and I tried so hard to understand him in some scenes. It's almost unintelligible. I mean, I guess it kind of adds to the complicated nature of this story, but it was just a little distracting and at times irritating that I couldn't really understand what he was saying. But other than that,
There's nothing more American than you've ever said than that right there.
It's 100% true.
Yeah.
Working at the Cinema Arts Center, every
Yeah.
time we have a Scottish movie, which is usually like my favorite time, it's like I don't know what it is about Scottish accents I find to be so beautiful. It's just like I just love the way it sounds. And
Yeah.
every time we have a Scottish movie, it's a bunch of old white people complaining, like, I don't understand it. Why don't this movie got subtitles?
Well, I'm actually 76 years old, so.
But it's
So
fun,
that's perfect. Yeah.
the same people that complain when foreign language films have subtitles are now begging for them. Like they're angry that Minari has subtitles, but you know they need them for a Scottish film.
McAvoy seriously needed subtitles for this movie.
I understood every word he said.
Yeah,
I concur. I'd say, Randy, just you need to watch some more Scottish films.
I do.
Get it in your ear. Just get it in your ear. I'm not denying that it's a harder accent to pick up on if you haven't heard, but just watch some more foreign films.
I'll do my best.
I mean, it's like one of those things. I grew up watching like British TV. I watched so much BBC as a kid that like I kind of like any accent. I'm like, okay, I understand. Like it's just like
cool. So Matteo, what did you think of Together? I'm curious.
I thought it was great. I also grew up with BBC films, watching a lot of English, Scottish, Irish films. So I had an inkling when I saw that Stephen Daltrey and Dennis Kelly were involved that it was going to be real pitch dark, and they did not disappoint. I am also not married. I think there are elements of what a traditional marriage is, but it goes beyond that, in my opinion. It's dark and it's pitch black humor, and it's kind of a perfect representation of the anger, I think, right now during the time of COVID. I think both of them are phenomenal. Sharon Horgan, also, Catastrophe is incredible. Also, if you haven't seen This Way Up, she's the co-star in that. She's unbelievable in everything she does. And James McAvoy, I love when he uses his own brogue, because it's just it fits so much in this film, and I love that it was basically a play on film.
Yeah.
I loved the breaking of the fourth wall. That's a very theatrical device. I had read there's a few critics that were kind of miffed on that, and I feel like those are the critics that have never been in a theater.
Yeah.
It completely works. You know, you just you have the kid running around, but it's really a two-person show. Yeah. And again, Dennis Kelly's humor, his darkness. He also wrote Matilda on Broadway, writing the musical movie adaptation as well. Like, it's just a great pairing of all of these. Like, we're gonna just kind of be fucked up for a little bit, and it's great, and it is romantic at the same time. It's just this really bleak, dark, romantic. Hey, we're falling in love in the middle of COVID. Yeah, that's crazy.
It's
I definitely dug it.
It's effective. It's timely. It's very well acted, even though I couldn't really understand James, but that's fine because I understand what he was getting at, where he was coming from.
The emotion speaks for itself.
Yeah.
I mean,
true.
Like, there's so much emotion and tension in them that it's like, you just feel that movie, and it's great too. I was like reading an interview with Sharon Horgan about it, where she said like going into it, like reading, she was like, none of us wanted to do a COVID film. Like, no one involved. We're all like, oh, like, why would we do this? And then they fell in love with it. And it's like, it is like, even like I first heard about it and I'm like I'm so like over like people trying to cash in on COVID, especially horror movies. We're like 5 weeks into it, we're like COVID zombies is out, and you're like, what? But like it's just like one of those things where it's like it's not something I ever want to hear about again, like enough. But this movie did it perfectly. This is the only COVID movie we need. It handled it so beautifully, and it really spoke to everyone. And it's like, being someone who was married and is divorced, I can tell you that like it's pretty accurate, like what a couple's like.
Yeah,
Especially if you had to be stuck together. Especially that they are like so very different, like their beliefs and whatever.
yeah.
And that's like one of the best things, finding out like all these couples that I know, where I always thought like, oh, like they're kind of too different to be together. I know opposites attract and everything, but watching them break during COVID, like it's like being quarantined together. Like I kind of get off on watching people just break down like that. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Well, yeah, definitely. Especially like you said, they're so different.
Yeah.
Especially politically.
Yeah.
That's one thing I
And that's
really
like
thought
the
was
top
interesting.
thing, like
Yeah, and if you know UK politics, like once they start saying his politics, I was like, how in the hell are you with this guy? And that's what's so fascinating of seeing that like break. It even had kind of a Virginia Woolf quality about it. Of just like this couple just ripping into each other, but there's this layer of we got to stay together, or we don't know what else to do. Like
it's just great when you have a movie that's so dark and angry, but so funny at the same time.
Yeah,
like they real and it's like it is like beautifully romantic, but it's like how do you do something like that? It's like they really like perfect writing, perfect performance.
this is
Like,
the quintessential COVID movie. I think it's the first COVID movie that I've seen that really hits the nail on the head, and it works beautifully. And I think I need to rewatch it, and maybe I'll understand James a little bit better.
Turn on the subtitles this time. Like,
don't
have no shame about that. Turn it on.
I couldn't. I didn't have that option.
that's true.
Oh yeah, well, yeah.
But all right, guys. So I say see it, guys. I think it's unanimous again.
Yeah,
absolutely.
All right. Cool. Well, guys, we're just going to take a short commercial break, but we'll be back with our final film review of the evening right after this.
Under the Radar is brought to you by Magnitude Jewelry. Add a 2 to match your attitude. Patent pending, interchange genuine gemstone and crystal EMF protection jewelry. For more information, please visit magnitudejewelry.com/gemgirl or call 718-268-6634.
Hey guys, welcome back to the show. Randy Younger Under the Radar. And our third and final film tonight is The Protege. And I was actually really surprised at how much I enjoyed this movie. It is an action thriller starring Maggie Q, who has basically been an assassin all her life. She was trained by Samuel L. Jackson's character of Moody. And when something happens in the movie that I don't want to give away, she basically wants to get revenge. And one of the people involved is another assassin played by one of my favorite actors of all time, Michael Keaton. So yeah, this movie, it's directed by Martin Campbell. GoldenEye, Vertical Limit, Casino Royale.
Green Lantern.
Well, you went there, did you? But yeah, great action director. He really knows his stuff. He knows what he's doing behind the camera, and this film is just further proof of that. I really enjoyed this film. I loved all the characters. I thought Maggie Q was a very interesting kind of female assassin taking revenge. And again, the fight choreography in this was also quite good. Um, the acting was top notch as well. I also love the sets, the locales. There's a lot of things going for this movie. It's a little by the numbers, a little formulaic, but you know what? Who cares? It's a movie. It's an action movie. It's meant to be entertaining and kind of mindless. And this movie is just that. It's mindless, but at the same time, it's got some intelligence in it too, especially in the script. And the scenes between Maggie Q and Michael Keaton are pretty much priceless. So, Mr. Roran, what were your thoughts on The Protege?
I'm with you, man. I was surprised how much I like this movie. I mean, I love like the cast, great cast. Like I love, like I'll see most things Samuel L. Jackson's in. I thought Maggie Q. I think she's fantastic in everything she does. Even bad films, it's like she's still enjoyable. And Keaton, same thing. Like one of my all-time favorite actors. And I'm like, all right, well, I gotta see it. I just gotta see how my boy Michael Keaton's doing. And the guy just turned 70, man, and he's still got that charm and that like he still brought it, man. I was it's just so great to see a guy just he's the same guy. He's still got it, man. He's still got it. And I just thought his character, it was just nice to see him, because you don't get enough, we got it with Spider-Man and Pacific Heights, but you don't really get the bad guy Michael Keaton that much, and I absolutely think he's an incredible bad guy. Yep. And also, I mean, he's not even that bad. It's just it's one of those it's kind of like going back to Shang-Chi, his dad, where you're part of it is the beauty of is he really that terrible of a person? It's he's pretty much it's it depends on whose side you're on. It's it's very interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, I just I thought his character was great, and the fight sequences, they did a great job with those, and like you said, the sets and everything. Mm-hmm. I definitely enjoyed the hell out of this film.
I think the last time I saw a badass Michael Keaton was kind of in this mode, very physical, Extreme Measures, where he played a convict, but he was badass.
Convict, and then they need the marrow transplant for a little bit. Yeah.
That was intense.
That was the last movie he did before he disappeared for 20 years.
Right, exactly. Oh, also, guys, I wanted to mention another Martin Campbell film. Actually, two Martin Campbell films: The Mask of Zorro and The Legend of Zorro, with Antonio Banderas. Yes, CC.
Yeah.
Both great.
Those are fun.
Those are fun movies. Yeah, Martin knows what he's doing.
I actually just bought the double feature DVD of it. Both films for $5 at Rite Aid. I was like, oh, nice.
Awesome.
So
That's cool. Mateo, what were your thoughts on the film?
I'll make a third and say I'm surprised on how much I liked this movie. And it's nothing with everyone involved in it. I like Martin Campbell as a director. I think he's great. I think every director is gonna have a Green Lantern. That was more just of a joke. But he's a great director. Richard Wink, he wrote the Equalizer films and Jack Reacher. He knows how to write a action-packed movie. And Maggie Q has needed a franchise built around her for years. She is so good. at everything, and Sam Jackson's just Sam Jackson.
Yeah.
And Michael Keaton is literally the best.
Yeah, and I love.
But
yeah.
no, go ahead.
No, I love because Keaton in recent times. I mean, obviously with Birdman, he's gotten a lot more leading roles, but he is really at the forefront. It's like him and Maggie Q are at the center of this really crazy story, and I just love seeing him. I just love seeing him on screen. It's
yeah, and he's fantastic, and much to Matt's point, it's very much like the father in Shang-Chi, and which is what made that character so great, and what makes Killmonger so great in Black Panther. It's the villain that you also understand, you can sympathize, and you can see like this is actually a human being that with just conflicted, whether it be emotions or conflicted morals. But it's a great character, and he has so much fun with it.
Yeah.
And he doesn't at all it would be so very easy to play this character and just chew the scenery, and instead he just acts the shit out of it.
Yeah.
And him and Maggie Q have a great rapport. Sam Jackson's great. Ray Fearon is in it. He's the big bad. He's a great British stage actor. Who was also in Brana's Hamlet, bringing back Brana there. But it was really fun. It's one of those movies that's I think it is very predictable, and it's kind of dumb, and that's okay. Because it also knows exactly what kind of movie it is. It's not trying to be the next it's not trying to be the next 007. It's not trying to be the next oh Jesus, his name's blanking me.
John Wick.
John Wick.
It's not trying to be John Wick. It knows exactly what it's trying to be, and it does it. It does it nice. Parts of it don't work, and you just go, yeah, okay, and you just keep on moving. I'm not even fully sure if the acting the ending fully worked with me, and I don't care. Because enough of it worked that I was like, I'm having a good time, and everyone here is having a ball.
Without a spoiler, that's kind of a spoiler, but not really. Is that ending, man? It's kind of like it is an abrupt, weird ending.
It is.
It is like one of those things where they're like, we don't know how to end this. Let's just do this. Okay.
Right. It's the kind of ending that if you weren't enjoying the film, you'd be like, oh, they ran out of film. And that's the end of that. But in this, it's clearly a choice. But you go, I don't know if I love that, but I don't know if I care.
Yeah.
It's a really fun film.
I enjoyed the ride.
Yeah.
But it definitely because it's like one of those things that I saw the trailer a bunch and I thought to myself like, oh, I want to see that because of who's in it, and everyone involved in it, but at the same time but it looks like it's gonna be bad.
Yeah, I know.
And then it, seeing it, you're just like, oh, what pleasant. This is a pleasant surprise.
Yeah,
because it is that bad, but at the same time, it's very good.
It's a great definition of a popcorn movie. It is.
It was basically it boils down to just the cast and the director. Those are the two elements.
That's true, because if honestly, if you put fucking Jason Statham in that role as fucking Michael Keaton, he would have been like, "Oh, I'm gonna fuck a dame. Oh, I know Edgar Allan Poe."
Oh my God, is that Jason Statham?
That's Jason Statham.
Wow, that was incredible. Incredible Statham.
I'm Jason Statham. But
I love it.
But yeah, I feel like anyone could have just made that movie not as good, and they just really, really. I mean, Michael Keaton, man, it's great to see that motherfucker can still pull real acting out. Because I mean, people have been shitting on Michael Keaton for years.
Yeah.
When he first was gonna be Batman, people petitioned and shit, and I'm like, dude, he's gonna be a great Batman, and he was. He's the hands down best Batman.
Yes.
But man, he really he took on serious acting, fucking conquered it, and he's back.
Everything he does is he's going to prove you wrong. If you don't like him, he's going to prove you wrong, and every single time he will.
And in these action,
he's gonna get nuts.
and in these action sequences, obviously there is a stuntman, but
Yeah.
there are a lot of shots where Keaton's actually doing this too. So
I would love to think that it was really
Yeah.
Michael Keaton like bending
Looks like
backwards and flipping and shit because 70 years old, man.
hey, he's freaking Batman. He could do it all.
He's Batman.
All right, guys. So the Protege, it is now out in theaters. Also, I wanted to mention back to Together, that is also in select theaters. And a little side note, I forgot to mention that it was actually shot in 10 days. I just thought that was interesting trivia. I would just want to throw it out there now. So guys, that about does it with our film reviews. I just wanted to go real quick down the list of coming attractions for this week. We've got a horror thriller called Bad Candy. It's got Zach Galligan, who was in the Gremlins movies. It's also got Corey Taylor and Derek Russo.
The dude from Slipknot?
Yeah, it's random.
Okay.
Next up is a Clint Eastwood directed and starred film, Cry Macho.
Get off my lawn, part 3.
Yeah, he is.
Get off my lawn, and I'm gonna be the white guy that saves the kid of color.
Basically,
That is what that looks like.
he is.
I
he is
just
not-
rescued a kid out of Mexico. What do you got me doing now?
I love it. No, Clint. Is,
I'll see any old like I just love watching him. Like
yeah,
no matter how old he gets, he's like grumble.
I think it's fascinating because I'll watch this on HBO Max, but my expectations are pretty low.
Oh, yeah.
I think the last good film he made was several decades ago. But it is interesting that he's just like, I'm just gonna ride this thing out.
And it's he's playing like
He
I would
does.
say like ever since what was the one named after the car?
Gran Torino.
Gran Torino.
Gran Torino. Ever since Gran Torino, every one of his movies has been like, well, I just have to be the star of it. And with the exception of American Sniper, which I just thought was like his worst movie of all time.
Ooh, I thought that was great. Okay.
Yeah,
It was like just like what like and that fake baby man. I thought they were joking when they talked about how fake the baby looked, and then I actually watched it and I was like, oh my god. And then the best was that like what's his face Hangover guy,
Bradley Cooper.
Bradley Cooper was like, yeah, I had to have a fake baby because I would have killed a real one. And I'm like, what?
Oh my god.
He was like, I was afraid I would have killed a real baby. And I'm like, all right.
That's also another movie that when you read what actually the story was, you're like, you just made. Richard Jewell, his film was also like that. It's like you actually don't care what the real story was.
Yeah.
Like this did not actually happen.
Let me find a guy that people don't know their name. I'm gonna make them know their name as long as they're
All right.
white.
All right, so wait. Next up, sorry, guys, we're almost out of time here.
Okay, get off my lawn.
Next up, we got a Nicolas Cage action thriller called Prisoners of the Ghostland.
What?
I have seen it. Oh, you guys are
Ooh.
in for a freaking treat.
I love it.
I'm not gonna say anything else.
We'll
but
have you back for that one, Mateo.
My lord.
Is this like his third movie this year?
Yeah.
We're like fucking not even done with the year yet. This is the third movie.
Yeah.
I'm
It-
fucking, what a year!
I won't
love
say
it.
anything else other than it might be the most bonkers Nicolas Cage movie I've seen.
What?
Ever? Oh my god.
Willy's Wonderland came out this year.
I know.
Oh man, I can't wait. All right. Next up, we've got The Eyes of Tammy Faye, starring
cannot
Jessica
wait.
Chastain and Andrew Garfield. That should be pretty insane as well. And we've got a Gerard Butler, Frank Grillo action thriller called Cop Shop. Not the biggest Gerard Butler fan, but we will see.
Well, I'm sorry. My brain took me to Gerard Depardieu.
I wish.
I'm like, oh, Gerard Butler, who cares? And then Gerard Depardieu, I'm like, where the fuck's he been? And I'm like,
Imagine.
He's been drunk for a year.
yeah. I'm like, I want to see him and Frank Grillo in a fucking action movie. And then I was like, oh, right. Down to Earth. It's that guy who's in all those movies I didn't care about. Okay, cool.
All right. So there's that, and then there's Blue Bayou, a drama. We also have Lady of the Manor, which is a ghost comedy with Judy Greer and Melanie Linsky. Also, Justin Long is in it. He actually wrote it along with Christian Long. I believe they're related. So that's Lady of the Manor. That looks promising. Next up is Best Sellers, a dramedy with Michael Caine. So you can't go wrong there. He's great.
Oh, Michael Caine.
And lastly on the list, we've got The Nowhere Inn, a comedy, drama, horror. Yeah, that about does it with the coming attractions. I can't think of anything right now other than the Nicolas Cage movie. So I'm really excited for that, actually.
Oh man, I wish I could just spoil it all for you right now. It is just, my
All
God.
right. So Matteo, if and when you come back for that, which you are obviously invited, that can be a spoiler heavy episode.
I think, yeah, because you could spoil the entire movie and you still want to go see it.
I
So
love it.
I'm down for that.
Sweet. I love it. All right, guys. So we're almost out of time, but I just want to go around and do plugs. What's going on? What do we want to promote? Mr. Roran.
Pickle Island, that whole shebang, shaboom. You can buy pickles and DVDs and CDs and play a Miss Pac-Man game and all that stuff. Down in Bayville, you can check us out on Instagram or Facebook. We're called Pickle Island. PickleIsland.ny if you're on Instagram. Just look for Pickle Island on Facebook. And you can find us there. And also, that Roaring Karaoke Experience, we dropped the new video last week. I don't care. I love it. So you can look for that on YouTube, MRKE, Matt Roaring Karaoke Experience. Find it there. We're also on Instagram and Facebook. Same kind of thing. Yeah.
I love it.
I don't care.
So many things going on, Roran. So many things. All right, Matteo, I know you're a busy man. What's going on? What are your plugs?
Well, I'll plug my website. First of all, my film review website is theartswireweekly.com. I reviewed a lot of festivals this year, and continuing to have a lot of things coming up. A lot of cool films that I've already watched. Great reviews I'm getting ready to post. I'm also an actor. I have a production coming up in October called Crawl Space here in New York City. It's going to be at the Tank, October 17th. It's going to be nice and weird and creepy. So if you're vaccinated and comfortable going into a theater, check us out.
Sweet. I love it. And I think I mentioned earlier, the Protege is now out in theaters. So go check that out. Go check out all three of the films we discussed tonight because they're all pretty
For sure.
So good. I'm definitely gonna have to rewatch all of them. So, all right, gentlemen, thank you so much for your time tonight. This was a great show as always, and you are always welcome.
Always a pleasure, sir.
Yes. Hope to have you guys.
Sorry if we made it so that you're gonna have to cut around all of our nonsense.
Yeah, it'll be like an 11-minute show. So, no, I'm kidding. It'll be 10. No. But a lot of fun, and I hope to have you guys here in person someday.
Yes.
At the Under the Radar headquarters studio here in Forest Hills, Queens. So, guys, thank you so much for watching. Thank you to my guests. If you're watching at home and on your devices, thank you for welcoming me into your home and wherever you're watching this show. You can also watch the show on cable channels FiOS 34, RCN 83, Spectrum 56, and 1996. And for previous episodes, interviews, and commentaries, feature-length commentaries, feel free to subscribe to the Under the Radar YouTube channel and spread the word. So guys, thanks again. I'm Randy Unger. This has been Under the Radar. We'll see you next time. Take care.